My message to you is, if you know something, say something. We know some of you know something.
A family fighting for answers and justice for a 21-year-old woman police say was killed after a domestic violence altercation.
Teachers in Indiana are getting ready to go red for Ed. I'm Steffi Wade with what they'll be rallying for at the State House.
We're gradually making some progress with temperatures making their way into the middle 40s. I'll let you know if that warming trend will continue into the weekend.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Now at 5, a grieving mother is making an emotional plea. She's asking for help getting justice for her daughter, who was killed in a domestic violence situation on this day in 2017.
Our Nicole Griffin was there as the family of Kaylin Cole met with homicide detectives on a day that marks very painful memories.
Today marks 2 years since a woman was killed on the city's south side. Her name was Kaylin Cole, and she was just 21 years old. Today, family members of Cole came here to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office to get answers on where her case stands.
I'm fighting for justice for Caitlin, and that's why we're standing here. Justice for Caitlin.
It's an emotional and stressful day for family members of Kaylin Cole. Her mother and siblings holding pictures of her with tears in their eyes. It comes as 2 years have passed by, and no one is facing justice for taking her life.
It's not a day that I do not miss my daughter.
Cole was killed in what police believe was a domestic altercation. She was found shot to death inside a car near 1317 South Senate Avenue on November 15th, 2017. The case has been presented to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. The detective says that they do have a person of interest. Right now, they're only releasing his street name. In order for the prosecutor to file charges, IMPD says they need witnesses to come forward and tell the truth.
We know who Rock is, but now it's just a matter of us getting a little bit more evidence to put the case together.
My message to you is, if you know something, say something. We know some of you know something. We know one person in particular knows something. Think about it. It could be your child one day.
It's information that could help bring peace to this grieving family as they continue to miss Kaylin every day, a beautiful young woman taken from her loved ones way too soon. Working for you in Indianapolis, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
And IMPD statistics show that this year, 11 people have died as the result of domestic violence. Tonight at 6, Nicole talks to a survivor who has a message for women and men who may be experiencing domestic violence.
New details tonight about the Fishers K-9 officer killed in the line of duty during a manhunt. According to court documents, K-9 officer Harley died from a gunshot wound to the head Wednesday. 19-year-old Richard Garrett Jr. of Indianapolis is facing more than a dozen charges, including shooting and killing K-9 Harley. Court documents reveal that while in the squad car after his arrest, officers say Garrett made the sound of a shotgun being racked, followed by boom several times. He was also quoted as saying, quote, click, click, bang several times. A passenger in Garrett's car, Roshana Farrow, was also arrested. A memorial service in celebration of Harley's life will take place next week, and everyone is invited. It's set for Wednesday at Fishers High School in the main gym. Doors open to the public at 5. The ceremony begins at 6.
Some call it a heartbreaking problem on the east side. More and more youth are experiencing homelessness. Tonight, there's a group working to change that by turning a once run-down and abandoned house into a shelter. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum is working for you to find out what the need is and how you can get involved to help.
Abandoned, boarded up, and broken down. This house was in bad shape earlier this year, but after some major renovations, it will soon be a home to young people in need.
A place like this will mean everything to them.
Jenna Schaefer is the founder of 91 Place. She's been working with homeless youth for years and says right now there's a lack of resources, especially on the east side.
Indianapolis only has one transitional housing program for these youth, and they only have 8 beds. And so they're doing amazing work, but there's just such a need for more.
So she teamed up with Joni Nelson and her nonprofit called Global Illumination. Their goal, provide more than just a place to sleep.
A home is not usually the first thing that a youth wants when they're experiencing homelessness. It's relationship and family.
Leaders here say many of the young people experiencing homelessness are in this position through no fault of their own. So they want to give them every resource they can to set them up for a successful future. Nelson used her design skills to make that a focus.
We've expanded walls. We really invested in the kitchen and the dining room.
Making space for these teens and young adults to talk and connect with mentors and available resources.
This room, we've added flooring. It's going to be the living room.
The home is geared toward youth between the ages of 18 and 22, especially those from the East Side.
We don't want to bring them outside of their community and try to transform them somewhere else and then plop them back into, where they're from.
Leaders are finishing up a few projects, but they're hoping to have the first few people move in by the end of the year. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And the group is still looking for donations before they open. We will have a link to their website and Amazon wish list on our website.
Time now for your Storm Team 6 forecast. And what a way to end the work week. Warmer temperatures, sunny skies. It was great. A lot of people probably didn't even want to work today.
Yeah, it felt pretty good compared to where we've been this week. And a lot of that snow has melted away. Still some of the areas protected from the shading of the day. Still got a little bit of snow out there, but temperatures made their way into the 40s. 42 for us right now in downtown, 43 in Bloomington. You are in the upper 30s in Lafayette and Muncie. Look off to the west. There are 50s and even 60s in Valentine, Nebraska. There is something, though, that stands between us and that warmer air. That's this cold front that's going to be sliding our way here as we go this evening and into tomorrow. That'll kind of pump the brakes on any warming trend, but it will come through dry. So if you're heading off to some high school football games this evening, going to need to layer up. 36 degrees for the kickoff by 9 o'clock, partly cloudy, and 31. We'll talk about that cool weekend, a warm-up coming in the 7-day forecast, and the rain chances to go with it.
Well, teachers in Indiana are getting ready to go red for ed. More than 12,000 teachers and educators will be at the State House Tuesday rallying for better education laws. You can see red. 133 school districts across the state have already canceled classes or are having an e-learning day so teachers can attend that massive rally. RTV6's Stephanie Wade is breaking down the issues teachers are protesting.
On Tuesday, teachers will be rallying for several changes to education laws. Some of those include not punishing students in schools based on their iLearn test scores. They also want to repeal a 15-hour externship for teacher license renewal. They want to raise teacher pay to $60,000 a year and stop post-grad status as a way to grade schools.
It's more than wages and benefits for teachers. It's about adequate funding for para coverage to meet IEPs, behavior plans, improvement plans, bus drivers. Everybody, even Carmel, struggling to get bus drivers.
Randy Harrison teaches government at Anderson High School. He says a lack of funding and constant changing policies are damaging public schools. So they're taking their concerns to the State House Tuesday, rallying in front of lawmakers to provide more funding and change the way they test students and grade schools.
The anxiety that we hear of our third graders the days before the test, that they actually are physically ill because they know if they don't succeed on that test, they may not advance to fourth grade with their peers. And there are stories of students coming in vomiting, defecating themselves, not eating, and things. And these are third graders.
Coming up at 6, hear what the governor has to say about these issues and what he thinks about Tuesday's rally. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Now, this is by no means an exhaustive list, but we did some checking to see what school districts in our area will be open Tuesday, and they include Avon, Brownsburg, Carmel Clay, Monroe County Community Schools, Muncie, and Plainfield. Again, we did check this afternoon. There could always be changes.
Tonight, the second public House impeachment hearing is over, but there are many more to come. The former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine faced questions today from Indiana Congressman Andre Carson and other members of the House Intelligence Committee and shared how she was shocked and devastated by the president's words. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi reports from Capitol Hill.
But it wasn't just
before lawmakers and the American people. Former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine Marie Yovanovitch recalled a chilling account of her final months as America's top diplomat there.
It's not the way I wanted my career to end.
Yovanovitch publicly testifying that the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, orchestrated a smear campaign against her that was used to oust her from her post, and outlining how early on she allegedly became collateral damage of the president's apparent shadow diplomacy in Ukraine.
Shady interests the world over have learned how little it takes to remove an American ambassador who does not give them what they want.
The 33-year veteran diplomat also telling lawmakers she was, quote, shocked and devastated to learn she was mentioned by the president in his July 25th phone call with Ukraine's leader, in which he called her, quote, bad news and remarked, quote, she's going to go through some things.
It sounded like a threat.
And mid-hearing, the president continued his attack on Yovanovitch on Twitter, writing, quote, everywhere Marie Yovanovitch went turned bad. His words prompting Democrats to accuse him of witness tampering.
I want to let you know, Ambassador, that some of us here take witness intimidation very, very seriously.
Meanwhile, Republicans pointed out that Yovanovitch was removed in May prior to the events at the center of the impeachment investigation.
You don't have a lot of facts and information relating to the part of this that we're investigating.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct.
And behind closed doors, the House will also be hearing from a new witness, David Holmes. Holmes is the State Department official who claims to have overheard President Trump's July 26 phone conversation with EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland, where Trump allegedly inquired about the Ukraine investigations. Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
And the House Intelligence Committee will hear from 8 more impeachment witnesses next week, including Ambassador Sondland on Wednesday.
Another big development in the nation's capital today. A federal jury found President Trump's longtime friend and one-time campaign advisor Roger Stone guilty of all 7 charges he faced. The jury found that he obstructed a House Intelligence Committee investigation, tampered with witnesses, and lied to Congress about his attempt to communicate with WikiLeaks. Stone faces up to 50 years in prison when he's sentenced in February, but legal experts expect the actual sentence will be much lower.
Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, action is growing to improve birth control access after funding restrictions. How some states are rebelling against federal decisions, next on the Now Indy.
But first here at 5, Germany comes to Carmel for the holidays. Well, what you'll find at the Christkindl Market when it opens tomorrow. Kevin.
And I'm live at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. There are over 1 million reasons you need to stay tuned and find out why I'm here. It will benefit the RTV6 Shines On Toy Drive. We'll be back right after this.
Attention book lovers in Wayne Township. The Wayne branch of the Indianapolis Public Library will be closing in a few weeks for a major renovation project. That branch is located at 198 South Girls School Road. It will be closed from Sunday, December 1st until May. This will be the first major renovation for the branch since it opened in 1983. The $1.5 million project will provide new spaces for youth programming, job skills counseling, and community gatherings. There will also be more seating, better lighting, and new study rooms.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, at least it is in Carmel, and that's where the Carmel Christkindl Market is set up and ready to open tomorrow. RTV6's Alyssa Donovan got a look at what the traditional German market has to offer.
Center Green is all decked out for the holidays for the annual Carmel Christkindl Market, and this year there are more than 50 vendors surrounding the ice skating rink.
My favorites, I like the dark stained woods, the hunters, this is an owl set.
One of the new vendors this year is Bradford Bob and his hut full of cuckoo clocks.
All these pieces are handcrafted and then they're painted and then they're assembled so that all those little pieces are actually glued on individually.
Bob is a fertility doctor in Carmel, but recently became the owner of Frankenmuth Clock Company on the side.
The dancers dance, the beer drinkers, and the barmaid delivers the beer. And all these are coordinated by an internal movement that is crafted in Germany.
Like most items you'll see at the market. Along with the authentic gifts, you can also sample German candies, other foods, and drinks.
When you come here, you're kind of swept into a whole nother world.
But a familiar and homey one. And the CEO of Carmel, Chris Kindle Market, says there's a reason for that feeling.
About 50% of all residents in Indiana have German heritage. It just runs deep, so when people come here, there's just a lot of connection with the German culture.
Whether you're coming for the sounds, snacks,
on the cookie,
or skating. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
And this is the third year for the Carmel Chris Kindle Market. It opens at noon tomorrow. It will be open Wednesday through Sunday during the holiday season. And I think it's cool to note, too, as well, Mark, that the ice rink is open till March.
There you go.
So
That's
you can
a long
still have
stretch
fun
for you.
way past Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, another holiday tradition is one we are very proud of here at RTV6. Our toy drive kicks off today for the 19th straight year.
And we are getting things started for the 6 Shines On toy drive at the new Christmas Nights of Lights event at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. And that's where Chief Elf Kevin Gregory is live tonight. Hey, Kevin.
He's a tall elf.
I'm a frozen elf as well. It is a good night to come out here. The last time I was at the State Fairgrounds, it was about pork chops and elephant ears, and no sign of those around now. But as you mentioned, it's all about Christmas Nights of Lights now through January 1st. And I want you to meet Tracy King. She's the owner, but also creative genius behind this display. We're going to see it in a second. Starting to come to life now. We haven't just had sunset. So you get a vision in your mind and you sit down at the computer to make this happen, or how does it unfold?
Well, I would like to say I use a computer, but it's still just pen and paper for me. I sit down, I try to draw out the road and how they're going to drive through.
And so the lights lead you through the display?
Exactly. Yeah, they'll actually be road lights. It's easy to follow once you get in here.
So headlights off, radio on. What's the experience after that?
It's actually a show. It's not just displays. Everything is synchronized. So the music that's coming through your radio is totally synchronized with every one of the lights that are in the show.
And your accent is from where?
Bristol, Tennessee.
Bristol, Tennessee. And so we're in NASCAR town, too.
Exactly.
We've got that connection together.
Exactly, racing towns.
Let me make sure that you've got all this straight, okay? Let's talk about where I'm at. So Indiana State Fairgrounds. This is until 10 o'clock on weeknights, extended hours on the weekends.
Exactly.
And then also $7 per person or $30 up to a carload with a maximum of 9 people. You can't stack them up all that much. And then also your evening hours here tonight, temperatures falling, but you set the thermostat in your car and you stay comfortable. A portion of the proceeds tonight will go to the 6 Shines On toy drive. Also, if you want to do something spontaneous and come out here and you hadn't planned on it, you'll get a fuel discount card for a game to the Indy Fuel Hockey. And that leads me to also Teddy Bear Toss Night, December 14th at the fairgrounds. And that will benefit the RTV6 toy drive as well. So welcome to town.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And we appreciate it. It'll be a great night tonight. And I'll be standing right here when you guys come driving through, all right? Kyle, back to you.
All right, Kevin. Yeah, and those lights are going to be shining pretty brightly here now as we're getting ready for that sunset. Temperatures 42 degrees. Feels like we're in the middle 30s because we've got that northwest breeze around 10 miles per hour. Temperature-wise, 38 in Tipton, 41 in Columbus and Greenfield in the lower 40s. Tonight, with mostly cloudy skies, we will find those temperatures settling back into the middle 20s to start off our Saturday morning. But again, it's going to be dry at 26 in the city. Heading out to a couple of the football games tomorrow. A couple in the state. Notre Dame kicking off at 2:30. The kickoff temperature is going to be chilly, so you're going to need the layers tomorrow. The wind should be fairly light. 37 in Muncie as Ball State kicks off at 3:30 in the afternoon. So we are going to start off our Saturday with some cloud cover. As we go into the afternoon, though, notice what happens. The sunshine will come out here, and that'll help to try and warm us up a little bit more. Temperature-wise, we're in the 20s at 8 a.m., 37 at noon, and we'll get to around 42. So maybe a couple of degrees cooler, actually, than what we experienced today, and still well below average for this time of year. 45 in Columbus, 38, though, in Lafayette and Peru with those partly sunny skies. The second half of your weekend, we're going to kind of do the opposite here. We'll start off with some sunshine and then increase the clouds as we go through the day. But if you're going to be heading out there for the Colts game, tailgating temperature is going to be in the lower 30s. We'll eventually make our way into the lower 40s for that afternoon high. And then late in the day on Sunday, can't rule out a little bit of a light wintry mix here. It's not going to be much. This is TrueCast by 11 o'clock. o'clock Sunday night, and that will pretty quickly fade away. But again, don't be surprised if you see a couple of raindrops or a few snowflakes late in the day on Sunday. Impact should be very minimal. 7-day planning forecast, and we do have a warming trend coming our way. Early next week, those highs are going to be into the middle 40s. And how about this? 50s on Wednesday and Thursday. We do have the chance for some rain coming our way, but hey, that is going to feel like a heat wave.
All right, bring that on.
Yes.
We welcome that.
I welcome it. Well, Indianapolis Zoo is inviting you to come over and meet their new residents, but don't be alarmed if they bark at you.
Airing Hoosiers only on RTV6.
The Indianapolis Zoo has 2 new residents who cannot wait to meet you. Meet Ginger and Aku, 2-year-old Pacific walruses. They arrived earlier this week and are already greeting and barking at guests in the Oceans area at the zoo. Aku was rescued by the Alaska Sea Life Center in June of 2017, and Ginger was born at SeaWorld Orlando. That's where the 2 have been together most of their lives, and now these friends get to stay together in Indianapolis, one of only 4 zoos and aquariums in the U.S. with walruses.
Welcome to town, you guys.
Welcome, Ginger and Aku.
Aku. All new at 6 p.m. here on RTV6. Better protecting yourself in an emergency. The new service in one local county and the difference it can make when every second counts.
But first on the now, Indy hit by an Indigo bus. He took legal action and received hundreds of thousands of dollars. Call 6 Investigates digs into the number of claims against Indigo and what happens after that. You're watching RTV6.